Just a couple things from obviously our last football game in terms of status with our guys. Colin Newell, practiced yesterday for the first time, which was great. I would still say he's questionable going into this week, but it's really good to get him back on the field. Kanena Wangu practiced yesterday, but again, I would say he's questionable. I know I said that yesterday. Everybody else, though, back and ready to go and will be available for us going into this week. So that part obviously positive. Going into this week, very good Baylor football team. We start offensively, extremely skilled team, great quarterback, young man that's been in their system now going into 3 years. You can tell he's playing with a lot of confidence. We've got a lot of respect for him and the ability to make plays with both his feet and his arm. Their skill group is extremely talented at the wide receiver position. Mims is, in my opinion, one of the best receivers in our league and probably one of the best receivers in the country right now with what he's doing. And then defensively, a lot of confidence there right now for sure, and deservedly so. They're playing fast, really physical on that side of the ball, have played great defense so far in their first couple football games. So great challenge for us, our first road test. And obviously we look forward to getting into Big 12 play and certainly our first opportunity to play in the Big 12. So with that said, I'll answer any questions you have for me. Well, I think he showed he can play quarterback, and that's what you have to have. You got to have more than one guy that can play that position, and we're really fortunate that Real is on our football team, and we got two guys that we feel really confident with. And I don't think we've had the opportunity to see Real play in a football game and really manage the quarterback position other than what we've done obviously in spring and in our own practices. So I just think for him it's more confidence for him that when his opportunity comes and as he continues to grow in our system, when he steps in to play quarterback, he'll be able to go out there and really function. I thought he did a great job. We're really proud of him.
Could you use him now more? Does that make you at least entertain the idea of kind of like what you had done in the Alamo Bowl, using him more in different ways now?
Yeah, I just think, that's a really unique situation because, I think distinctly you've got two guys there that are your quarterbacks, and I think sometimes, that's a little bit tougher because of how Brock's playing and also the situation for Real that he's so valuable to this football team. You're talking as that backup quarterback spot that I think you got to be really smart. So I think it's it's a probably a little bit tougher situation than just easy to say, hey, we're going to go put him into the game and do a lot of different things with him because his value is so high. And I think Real knows and put a lot of time and effort into being a really good quarterback. And I think the product of what you saw on Saturday is a lot of work that he's done to get himself into those positions. So we're really proud of him, and we'll continue to find ways to put our best players on the field for sure.
What did you learn about your team after the first 3 games, and what do you still?
I think the biggest thing is the integrity and character of this team, of what I thought going into the season and who we are now going into Big 12 play after the first really 4 weeks of the season is pretty much what I thought it was. And I thought, again, last week, certainly the game, great, whatever the result was or wasn't, but how our kids practiced last week going into Saturday, I thought was really, really huge to figure out who is this team going to become and what does this team have the ability to do. And, I thought our best Tuesday and Wednesday practice we had all year, I think really easily could have gone the other way. A gut-wrenching loss the week before. I think, for those seniors, tough to overcome that, but they did. And we were able to come back and have a great Tuesday and Wednesday. And I've seen this team get better each and every week, which has been a sign of really good teams that I've been a part of. They've had that unique trait to get better 1 week at a time. And this group at least has got the foundation of that starting right now, which I think is hugely positive. What do you got to see? We got to continue to get better in a lot of areas. Defensively, I think we continue to evolve, which is positive. We got to continue to harp on situational football on the defensive side of the ball. It's great to get some turnovers. We've got to continue to put emphasis on those things as we continue to grow. Their ability to adapt and respond to adversity was huge in that game on Saturday for us. But again, situational football will be the key and is the key to playing great defense. And then on the offensive side, I think just continuing to grow. It's so young. The quarterback's young. The O-line's got better in this, but all those skill players you're starting to see kind of emerge into defining roles for themselves. And I think that'll only continue to happen as the season goes on. But, it's great to see guys really starting to give some consistency of play to themselves. So I think this team is kind of starting to take shape a little bit. That's what I said Saturday after the game, where we're starting to become a real football team. And that part's exciting for us because that's what will give us a chance to be successful.
Through 3 games, you guys have only won 3 and out, and then on 30 of your 37 drives, you've been able to gain at least 20 yards. And obviously, on each drive, you want to be able to put the ball in the end zone. But how important can just that ability to consistently move the football every time you get the ball be for the entire team, not necessarily even just the offense?
Yeah, and Jared, I think that's, you hear me talk about so much about playing in rhythm and playing as a football team. Offensively is, in that old cliche of, man, if every possession can end in a kick, I think sometimes there's a lot of reality to that when you have a great defense. And, I think for us, the ability to understanding that there may be games where ball control is really important. And, we got to have our defense continue to put us in good positions to be successful. There's games where obviously scoring is critical to our success, but the ability to move the football and at least change field position, I still think is really important in our game. And sometimes people love the high scoring and all that, and we all do, but there's a point in time where you got to help your football team out, and just being able to move the football at times is really important. And obviously, that's the offensive staff's done a great job, and Brock's done a really good job at times doing that for us.
Talk about Brewer, like 72% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But he doesn't seem to generate the headlines as quarterbacks in this league goes. Can you just scout him a little bit and what?
A unique group. We'll start there, and obviously that uniqueness starts with its position coach and Coach Golish. But and I could go a lot of ways with that, but I probably won't go anywhere right now with it. But I think from my end of it, they are starting to prove in critical moments that they can make those plays. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I meant by that. We knew all 3 of those young men are talented players. Charlie last year in some critical moments made some big plays for this team. Chase, when he was healthy a year ago, made some big plays. And Dylan was a great special teams player last year for us. And it was fun that as we went into the spring and knowing that we were going to change, and needed to make some changes to involve them in our offense, that I thought you could see just their intent and intensity only continue to grow. And, it's been really rewarding because I think it's those 3 guys, even you go this past Saturday, the catch Sainer makes early in the game on our sideline. Obviously, the play Kolar makes right before half, the scramble, and he gets open and makes the big play. We're able to kick a field goal, and obviously Brock finds him. And then, Chase has got a couple big plays in there throughout the game. And so those guys are proving it, and they are, and that part is certainly positive. The neat thing about them is none of them are finished products either. They're only going to continue to get better. You got to remember, Charlie's only a redshirt sophomore, and Dylan has still played limited reps at the tight end position, and Chase is trying to be healthy for the first time in his career for an entire season. And so even though those guys have been here a little bit longer, they're still young in what they're doing. So I think you'll only see them get better and better. What makes those guys really special, as you're talking about all 3, is they're elite students. Charlie Kolar's a 3.9 GPA in our engineering school. Chase Allen, 3.5 in our engineering school. Dylan Sainer, 3.8 in our business school. They're highly intelligent young people too. And so I think what you're getting is the whole package with that group. And they all have their different entity, to be honest with you, of kind of who they are in that room. But I think their collection as a whole makes them really unique too. They're all 3 different people, but they are great students of the game as well as great competitors on the field. They are. And I think that's the other unique part about those guys is they were all wide receivers for the most part in high school. If you go back and watch their high school film, those are guys that were great basketball players. I know Coach Manning said Dylan wasn't a great basketball player, and he wasn't. But the other 2 are pretty good. And but they all were those same kind of wide receivers that have moved in line a little bit, and you can tell they all have that natural ability to catch a football.
Matt, with this 3-3-5 defense that they like to run, the 3 linemen.
I would just say this about Orion. I think he's getting his work deserved. He's worked really, really hard. you know, he's a guy that kind of was not the starter going into fall camp and earned the right to play because of the type of fall camp that he had, the type of summer that he had. And so I think the reality for Orion is, you know, what successes or small successes that are coming early in the season are a direct result of how he's practiced and how he's prepared for this season. Again, you're talking about a position that consistency is critical. You're right in the heart of this defense, and so, you know, he's done a great job of making the most of his opportunities. But for us to play great defense, he's going to have to continue to get better and continue to play at that level that certainly he's playing at right now.
What areas do you want to see him improve at? Because you said you want to see him continue to improve.
Yeah, I just think the consistency of play. You know, I think that's a huge piece in there. Like you're talking about a guy that a lot of the defense gets funneled to and around, and I think the consistency of making those plays and when the opportunities are there, the more consistent he is, the better this football team will be for sure.
Your game with this team last season was obviously a good way to put it. What's kind of your last memory of that game, and what do you feel like it allowed you guys to be able to come out on top in that one?
Yeah, you know, I think I know, you know, that football game. They're playing for a bowl game. We're playing to continue to stay in the race. There's a lot of emotion in it. It's late in the football season. I do think the one thing that you get and you watch them play on film and you watch us play on film is their kids play really hard and our kids play really hard. So, you know, I think anytime you get into that, and, you know, we've already played in one of those environments and one of those games, it becomes the ability to kind of control your emotions and the ability to kind of play to play and execute. I do think that'll be critical, and we did that at times in that football game, even after things got crazy in that game last year. We were able to kind of just stay the course through that football game, and it wasn't perfect, but we were able to do that. And so every game's different, every situation's different, but I think anytime you play in a really competitive game, you know, the ability to play one play at a time and stay present, really, really important for your success.
Our offense is doing anything different?
Yeah, you know, I think really the production, at least last week, predominantly came from those were plays where he had the ability to either hand it off or run it. And so, you know, I think probably us putting him in some of those positions more is really the result of that. You know, obviously, every time I see Brock run, sometimes I'd rather see him get down than run, but I think we know Brock, he's not going to do that. So, you know, I think the reality for Brock is his greatest improvement that I've seen in his game is his ability to stay in the pocket, his eyes downfield, and make those throws downfield. We've reaped the rewards of it, and you know, it's great to have a quarterback that's got the ability to run the football too at times to kind of help our running game out.
We talked about Brewer earlier.